Ladies and gentlemen, the American Jury and Bulldog Nation, welcome to an inaugural show in many ways because this is our fancy-pantsy interview set. But in addition to that, I have a very special guest that we're going to try to get something good rolling for tri-state comedians. With me today is Marcus Davis. Marcus, welcome to the Bulldog Show.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Marcus,
Glad to be here.
I'm going to do my best to be Johnny Carson here today. He used to have those comedians on all the time.
Okay.
But I really appreciate you're willing to come on. I want to first tell us a little bit about yourself so everybody knows where your comedy comes from.
Well, of course, as you said, my name is Marcus Davis. I'm from the Cincinnati area. I grew up in the West End, basically the hood before City West and before OTR. So yeah, I grew up in the hood.
So you got street cred, hood cred.
No, I don't. That I do not. All my friends that know me always ask me, how did you manage to live in that neighborhood your whole life and never sell dope and never get a, no, I took my ass to work. I'm going to McDonald's. I see y'all when y'all get done selling
So you
crack.
dodged thug life.
Dodged all that shit.
All right, good. Go ahead.
I just dodged it. I could not do it. I'm scared of jail.
Well, that's a good.
I'm scared of jail.
That's a good. I've been to jail for contempt for 8 days in the Hamilton County Justice Center, Marcus. And you know what they said? They said that the people in there, they were more scared of the Hamilton County Justice Center anywhere. Have you been in the Hamilton County Justice Center?
I have, and I got tired of staring at that dragon for the 3 days that I was there. Yes, I did. Sure did. I'm glad that dragon is gone.
How did you get in comedy?
I actually got in comedy. I went to an open mic from a guy that I knew, and I seen him do it, and it was something that I always liked, and I always thought it was incredible. But when I just seen somebody that I personally knew, that I personally went to school with, I just thought it was incredible that you could just get up there and just tell a story that's a real life story and just make people laugh.
Right.
Yeah.
I did stand-up comedy once at the Funny Bone, and that's what I did. I told funny stories. You know, it's the Seinfeld thing. You say, here's life, and you tell a funny story. What is describe your comedy? Are you a storyteller, or are you a joke teller? I mean, you're like Rodney Dangerfield, the serial joke teller. Describe what your comedy is.
I'm a storyteller because I have a truly, truly messed up life, so I don't even have to ever write a joke. I can just tell what happened to me in the month of August, in the month of September, and it's always hilarious, and it's actually unbelievable. Even to me, when I look back month to month, I'm like, oh my God, did that really happen? And when I look back on my last 20 years of my life, I'm like, that didn't happen for real.
Do you have a go-to story? Like, for example, if I'm at a party, I got a go-to joke. Do you have a go-to story that, in all of your comedy that you do, that you just think kind of sums up what you're all about as a comedian? And can you share that story with us? Because we got all the time we have time for one of your stories if you want to tell one.
Man, there's actually a million of them. Okay, I'll give you the craziest story. I've been married 3 times. See?
Love, it's love. See, the audience starts laughing as soon as you say that, don't they? Go ahead.
I've been married 3 times, and 2 of them, the 2 and 3, are actually named Tina. One of them is 5'8", one of them is 5'2". So when I was with 5'8", she was 2, 5'2" was number 3. So when I would cheat on them, when I would cheat on number 2 with number 3, they would say, Tina coming to the job. I say, who? And real quick, they say, Big Tina. Because Big Tina was 5'8". She was number 2. She was my real wife. Number 3 wasn't my actual wife yet. She was 5'2", so they named them Big Tina and Little Tina. And then every time something happened, they say, Big Tina on her way, Little Tina on her way. And we talking 22 years ago, and still to this day, they call them Big Tina and Little Tina.
You got numbers, yeah. 1, 2, and 3. Now, what was the name of number 1?
Number 1 was Mary. Number 1, she was...
My wife's name's Mary.
Yeah, it ain't Mary Meadows, is it?
No, it isn't Mary Meadows.
I hope you ain't got my first wife.
Are you married now?
I'm still married to Little Tina.
Little Tina.
As of now. And she only Little Tina because she's smaller than Big Tina.
Well,
in size.
Well, I know it might have been from what's it called, an affair, whatever you want to call it. But you know what? At least you married her. You made her an honest woman.
I did. Yeah, I made him. I made an honest woman. Yeah, because they put their time in. If you put your time in, you know, you get your promotion.
Right.
With anything.
Right.
You should get your promotion.
Now, where have you done comedy? Like, give us your
I've done
your comedy resume.
I've done comedy in Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, Michigan, Illinois, and West Virginia. West Virginia, I've done a couple of private shows. We actually done a toy fundraiser for Christmas, not last Christmas, but 2 years ago. We raised a lot of money, a lot of toys for the kids, because you either had to pay to get in or you had to bring a toy. So we raised a lot of money and a lot of toys. The guy who hired me, he was really happy. I actually took a trip to Chicago and we did a whole bunch of just open mics and comedy shows, because I mean, Chicago is a place where you can really prosper. Like if I didn't have a small child, you can go to Chicago and really prosper in a matter of probably 2 to 4 years. I would think you could probably really make an advancement.
Where you go matters.
Yes, where you go, yeah, because the bigger the city, because agents and comedy bookers and stuff, they don't look necessarily in a place like Cincinnati or Dayton, or, you know, they don't look in the smaller cities.
They say there are people that fear death as much as they do standing in front of an audience and speaking. And, you know, I think it's pretty clear stand-up comedy is one of the most difficult things to do. Having done it, I think one of the most critical things is to get the audience laughing. You get the audience laughing, then they keep you. It's easier to keep them laughing. If you found that to be the case, you get them going, because then you feed off of it and stuff comes to you while they're laughing and that kind of thing. Is that your experience?
That's definitely true. I would actually say, I haven't done the other things, but I would say this. I would think it's probably one of the hardest talents to do. And the reason why I say that, because even if you're a singer, you have backup singers, you have music, you have dancers possibly. If you're an actor, you know, you got other people on the set. But when you were a comedian, it ain't nobody but you and the mic.
Yeah, that's right. You're alone.
There ain't no sound. Like, so when you come, you got to get that energy. You got to get it started. Like, and it's all on you.
What's COVID been like for a comedian yourself? What's that been like?
It's been terrible. It's actually been terrible. I was doing pretty good. I had a pretty good buzz. I got a little website that I do.
What's the name of the website? We want to promote you.
It's called Gig Salad. I'm on Gig Salad.
Gig Salad.
Yes, if you want to hire me, I do private shows. I actually did a girls' night family. I did a girls' night in a private home. I do a lot of private home shows if they hire me. It was
everybody likes to laugh. What a great party favor, a comedian.
It was scary though.
Yeah.
Because I walked in. First of all, I always Google the address before I go. So I'm like, this is a neighborhood. This is not a bar or a place like, or a center or something. So I Google it. I'm like, that's a house. So I get in there, and I can tell you this, because we on, you know, it was like 20 old black ladies. I said, oh my God. Well, they're the most critical. They hard. I'm like, this is. I walk in and I'm like the.
We keep it real here.
Yeah.
So 20 old black ladies, you had to make them laugh.
And the youngest one is like 40 something. And they sitting there like, I'm like, oh my God, I'm nervous. I feel like a Crip walking in blood territory. I'm like, what I gonna do? Like, oh my goodness. It was
Well, I know this because I played flag football with a bunch of young black guys. I'm 45 years old. They were in their 20s.
Oh.
And they told me all the time, they said, man, you do not want to get the criticism going of a black woman, because they come hard.
It's rough. That's why when I walked in, when I get to the neighborhood, I was looking for a bar, and I'm like, and I'm like, this is a residential neighborhood, and I get there, and I'm like, I go around to the back, I see the house, I said, this is a house.
The comedy clubs were all shut down just like everybody else during the wine was not a friend of stand-up comedy clubs, I would guess.
It still barely speed. It's gaining speed, but it's still going slow. Like if a place has a capacity of 300, they still probably only doing 150.
What is the big comedy clubs in Cincinnati now? Because I know the Funny Bone in Newport and Levee closed,
Yeah, they
which
closed.
is unfortunate. Where's the big comedy clubs in Cincinnati?
It's Liberty Funny Bone. See, actually, when they made Liberty Funny Bone, they was kind of leaning towards getting rid of Newport Funny Bone anyway.
So there is a Funny Bone. It's in Liberty.
Yeah, it's in Liberty. It's
Okay,
in
gotcha.
exit 21 off 75. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Is Go Bananas still around?
Go Bananas has went through a complete remodeling thing. I don't know if they opened back up on the inside, but we did a decent amount of comedy on the outside, like all summer long, where we was able to spread out. Go Bananas is still moving a little bit slower because it's a smaller venue. So, you know, the revenue is probably a little bit smaller, but they still going, they still around. We just waiting for this COVID thing. And then Cincinnati haven't not moved as quick as other people have moved, as quick as other cities and states. Cause I done did a lot of stuff over this COVID thing in other places.
Is there room for another comedy club in Cincinnati? Because I think there's a lot of comedians in Cincinnati.
It actually is. I actually know, I would probably say I know at least 100, maybe 80 of them take it serious, but I know a lot of people that's doing comedy, and if we have more venues and more avenues, yeah, I think, yeah.
Is there a nationally known comedian that your comedy would be close? I saw, he's one of my favorite, Eddie Griffin at Funny Bone. Mm-hmm. I love Eddie Griffin. David Chappelle, I saw him down at the Funny Bone. Of course, I'm a big fan of Richard Pryor. I'm a big fan of Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
What is there a person, or you're unique, or is there somebody that you, like somebody watching this might say, well, what kind of a comedian is, who would you fit? Like, you a Seinfeld guy? What?
I'm a Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor that's my idol.
I got a great question after you said that.
I love a lot of comedians. I follow a lot of comedy. But Richard Pryor was actually the first comedian. And I was waiting for you to ask that. He was actually the first comedian I ever heard. I was about 7 or 8 years old. I got hold to a Richard Pryor cassette and the little tape cassette that pop up like a trunk door. I put that in there, and he was telling a story. I still funny to this day. He was telling a story about Dracula. He said winos could deal with everything but running out of wine. And he tells a story of a wino. He said he sees a wino peeking in a people's window. And he says, what you doing peeking in on people's window, boy? He said, what's your name? He said, my name Dracula. He said, what kind of name is that for a nigga? Like, but he a wino. He don't even realize he's talking to a real live vampire. And I seen the wino in my neighborhood that would be that type of person. And when I say I heard, it was just a audio story, but I've really seen the wino that he was talking about. I seen him in my neighborhood. I said, that's such and such. And when I say that was so interesting to me that somebody could tell a story and I could visualize it. I only hear this guy. I hear this guy's voice, but everything he said, it was amazing to me. And I was like 7 or 8 years old, and I've always been infatuated with Richard Pryor ever since, and how he turned all his drama.
The first comedian I listened to was Bill Cosby, and I still remember some of those skits that he did. They were absolutely hilarious. He did a coin toss between wars. He just imagine if there was a coin toss between wars, like Sitting Bull and Custer.
Right.
Hilarious stuff.
Yeah.
So you cuss during your show. If you follow Richard Pryor, you cuss.
Yeah, I actually have to tone it down depending on where I do.
Well, I want to tell you something. When I did my show, I cussed. And I can tell you right now, comedy's easier when you cuss. These guys that do comedy without cussing, they're impressive, because don't you think it adds a little bit of spice to the joke when you throw in a well-timed curse word?
I do, but it actually depends on the crowd. You have to
Depends on the crowd.
You have to.
Those old ladies, you pulled it back.
Yeah, cause I went to I did a Marshall University alumni homecoming show. And it was in West Virginia, and it didn't go well.
With respect to the cussing too, are you politically correct or are you politically incorrect? Because I know there's been a backlash where a lot of comedians have come out and said, you know what, we got to stop worrying about hurting everybody's feelings. Where do you fall on that?
Again, I would probably say it depends on the show, what I do. Okay, for example,
because I think comedy. Let me give you an example. Everybody would look at me as a conservative. You know what? I laugh my ass off at Bill Maher.
Yeah,
Bill Maher is liberal, but I think he's funny.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? And he's not politically correct.
I teeter. I actually teeter on it. I teeter on where I'm at. That's why I always try to find out where I'm at. I always try to find out.
So you can go both. You can go either.
Yeah, I can go either. I can tone it. I can tone it down. Not completely down. I can tone it down. I like to say if I do a show in a bar that's a hood ghetto bar, like where they like rolling weed on the table, I just do whatever I want to do. Because I know that I can do that.
Right. That's funny. Well, do you have an upcoming gig that's for the public, or are you lined up just for private gigs right now?
Actually, I don't have anything in March. I haven't checked my email lately. I'm still working on some things because I kind of, like I said, I slowed down. I just did one show in December.
What's your social media? Because you brought that up before the show got started.
You can follow me on Facebook at Marcus Davis Sr. or comedian Marcus Davis. If you Google that period, you can find all my other stuff. But I'm pretty sure all my links are on my Facebook page.
And you put shows up.
Yes, I put sets up. Or they could go to, like I said, if they go to YouTube and go to Marcus Davis TV. No, if they go to YouTube and go to comedian Marcus Davis 71, go to comedian Marcus Davis 71, and then you can find everything. And I put some clips. I haven't done a good one, because of camera editing. I'm really kind of just setting a cell phone up on a tripod. But yeah, I got stuff up on my YouTube page. I got stuff up on my Marcus DTV Facebook page. So I got things up. Like I said, I'm on TikTok. I'm on pretty much everything but Snapchat, and that's because of my age. I just ain't been able to. It's been so much to keep up with.
Right. Well, Marcus, thanks for coming in. We will promote you. We'll send you a copy of this that you can post it wherever. But I really appreciate you coming in, and spread the word to your other comedian friends if they'd like to come in and talk to us.
I definitely will.
And when you do another show, whether it's private or public, I'll send Sabrina out. We'll videotape it and we'll make something up.
That'll be good. That's gonna make me rush now. I'm gonna try to set something up for more. So yeah.
All right. Thank you, Marcus.
Hey, I appreciate you.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Marcus Davis. Check him out. Thanks for coming in, Marcus.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to The Bulldog Show and hit that bell so you'll be alerted when I do other videos. Last but not least, please comment below. I'd love to hear from you.